Well, greetings everybody. Streaming all the way from the Phoenix Park. Hope you're all keeping well. I absolutely love looking at the deer, especially at this time of year, when they're either rubbing their antlers against trees or else headbutting each other, and the clashing of antlers. I love that sound. Did you know that antlers are actually made of bone, not cartilage? That one I actually had to look up. The only other time that you'll ever hear that type of sound is during an intense hurling match and the clashing of ash. It is a beautiful time in the Phoenix Park, especially with all the colours of red, brown and green, and the green still holding on and fighting a losing battle against the red and the brown. The history of the Phoenix Park is intertwined with its wildlife. There's approximately about 600 fallow deer in the herd up here in the Phoenix Park, and they usually keep them, unfortunately, to that size for the size of the park. The fallow deer are the most widespread deer across the country. They're actually not native to Ireland, or even to Europe for that matter. They were originally from Asia. It was the Normans that first brought deer to Europe, and the UK specifically, around the 11th century. The Normans first brought the deer to Ireland in 1244, and the reason why they were brought over here was to stock the Royal Deer Park in Glencree in County Wicklow. The Phoenix Park was originally opened 400 years later in 1662, and it was opened as a Royal Deer Park. And the current herd that you're looking at now is actually descended from that original herd that was actually brought over, which is amazing. I love the shot of the deer running through the red and the brown in the forest. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. In my entire, I know I'm getting off on a tangent, but this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. The rangers, they're the ones in the electric vehicles, were actually called because people were feeding the deer carrots, and I'll get into that in a minute, and they were getting too close to them. So the rangers came up, and like the old cowboys of old herding the cattle, the lads in the electrical jeep, there decided to start, instead of going over to people and giving out to them, they just herd up all the deer. So that's what they're doing now. They're actually herding the deer to bring them down to a little forestry park that they can actually go down and relax and, be on their own. But it was the funniest thing myself and my wife has ever seen is 2 or 3 of the little jeeps herding all the deer and bring them down towards the munition stump. So if you ever want to see the deer in the Phoenix Park, they're usually down by the munition stump in the evening times. The Phoenix Park supports actually 50% of all the mammal and wildlife in Dublin, and actually 40% of its birds. The herd of deer in the Phoenix Park is a major part of that. The deer, as I said, the deer in the Phoenix Park can be found on the football fields normally during the day and around the 15 acres. Their diet normally consists of what they eat, such as grass, leaves and seeds. You see, it's not the point of people bringing up carrots and whatever else to feed them. If Joe brings it up on a Monday, then what happens to the other 6 days of the week. So that's the reason why carrots is like candy, because they're high in sugar and it's like candy to them. They love it, but it's actually really bad for them, and too much of it can upset their stomach and it will impact their diet. This is down where I said the munition stump is just off to the side there, but this is where they actually sit down and relax. So there's kind of like a pathway, and then there's kind of marshy grass, and then there's the little forest that they go in, and that's where they'll actually sit down and relax. And that's where I was filming this. It was in the evening time. It was about 4 o'clock. I think this is also where the female deer will have their fawns next June. Is around this area, because this is where they go to rest. So the fawns will be in the long grass. So it's something really to look forward to. I will come back up next June and to see the baby deer, and I should say the fawns. And I'll do a video on it for you, and then you'll be able to see them. But other than that, I've got some really cool video ideas coming up. I can't let you know just yet, but some amazing footage is going to be coming up. I just literally have to go out and film it, and hopefully everything works out. But anyone who hasn't subscribed to the channel, which is about 90% of you, could you just please consider subscribing, because as I said, I've got some amazing ideas coming up, and that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Folks, stay safe and see you in the next one. Bye for now. Bye-bye.